with 2 #1 singles under his belt, a second album in the making, a UK sellout tour, and Saturday and Sunday night presenting the Xtra Factor, life's never dull for the nation's favourite Essex boy, Olly Murs.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name is Olly.
What is your big dream?
To be a pop star.
You're very, very, very cool.
You're the boy next door. You can sing and you can dance.
It's funny, isn't it, when you watch that 2 years ago you were a recruitment consultant.
Incredible. No, it's been amazing 2 years. I would pop into recruitment. I always go and see my friends. I always go back every time I'm back in Essex. And not just saying that, I always pop in and see the guys, and they've got posters on the wall, and it's just brilliant.
What do they say to you?
They're just shocked. It's weird because the one thing I love about it is that they haven't changed. So when I go in there, it's still, they treat me like Ollie I was 2 years ago, which is brilliant. And like, we just talk. They just go, "What are you up to at the moment? What are you doing?" And I tell them what I'm doing. And I always have to go in with loads of autographs for them because they're like, "Oh, my kids want this stuff." I'm like, yeah, okay. But it's brilliant. I love going back. I love seeing my old friends and like seeing where it all started for me. And yeah, it brings back lots of great memories.
But you really are one of X Factor's huge success stories, actually. And not just musically either. I mean, now with presenting the Xtra Factor, I mean, there's a whole other side to you as well with the presenting.
I think it'd be embarrassing for people to say we're a huge success story. I don't know. It's great. I mean, I've had a great 2 years and I've really enjoyed it, and it was I was really proud when Simon obviously called and said, "Would you like to come? We'd like you to present the show this year." And it was almost like he didn't want me to say no. He was like, "You've got to come back, it'd be great." And I'm really enjoying it. And the one thing I was very conscious of is that, yeah, I love great to go and present it, but I wanted the music to continue to do well, and that's continuing to do well as well. So it's great that I'm having to do two amazing jobs, but it's actually quite hard at the same time.
Well, it's quite nice, I'd have thought, to have been in the X Factor studio without the terror of knowing that you're about to sing for votes.
Completely, yeah. I mean, it's great to go back there. There's no pressure. But I actually feel like it's me going back as a school teacher, funny enough. You know, you go back to your own school.
Yeah, teaching
and
your own
I'm actually behind the scenes. I'm getting to go into like the teachers'. What's the room they do without the
staff room?
I'm going into the staff room. I'm like sitting around. I'm talking to the judges, having a cup of tea, and I'm talking to Dermot, and we're talking about the show. And it's like, this is weird.
Do you think it would have been weirder had the old judging lineup still been there? I mean, obviously the only one is Louis, really.
Yeah, well, I think that would have freaked me out. I think that would have. But I think because it's all new this year, I think going to the into the staff room and chatting to Simon and talking, because we talk about the contestants, we talk about what they've been getting up to in the week, and you know, you kind of get a night and everyone's talking about everyone. It's all like.
Does it make you realise what we were all talking about?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh no, what did you say about me? Like, God, that must be like, call that Ollie, God, yeah, you know. But it's very strange, but it's good in another way as well.
Well, it's been an interesting, and thank goodness, because, you know, the more column inches there are, the more viewers there are watching. But it's been fascinating in the papers, the way it's been spun this year, and are the judges getting on? Are they not getting on? Is this show as good as it always has been? Has it taken a dip? Is it controversial? Is it not? What's your take on this run?
I think every year it's the same for me. Even when I come off the show, I had interviews all the time. Like, this has happened. Now being in it, I mean, it's even harder for me and Caroline because we sit there on the sofa and we've just come off the show. I mean, the other week, it was 3 weeks ago, it was the bullying thing. And literally, we had to go on air straight away and we're like, oh my God, what do we say? Because we script the show and we ideas and we're watching the show, and obviously it's like, oh my God, what are we going to say now? Are the judges actually going to be sat there when we come out? And then recently we had Louis turning around to Gary, telling him to shut up. And it was like, oh my God.
And then you have Gaga storming
and
the
stage.
And then
Gaga comes on stage. It's like, what? And it's brilliant. It's great, exciting, and I like
that show.
And I think that the reason why X Factor's so big is because it's everywhere. Everyone talks about it.
Is there still a snobbery around the X Factor out there? I mean, do you come up against that?
I don't know. I think there is a little bit, you know, but I think what it always comes down to when you come from the X Factor is you have to work hard when you come off the show. It isn't easy. People always say, oh, you come off the X Factor, it's easy to get here. It isn't. It's proven that. You know, people have won the show and they've come on the show, haven't got #1 hits. They haven't been successful.
It's
so
almost
it's not
like
as easy as people think.
It's easy to get the exposure, but then the hard work starts once
getting
you've
the hit
got
record.
it.
You have to get a hit record. And, like, I was very lucky that I went straight into writing sessions, and I didn't know Please Don't Let Me Go was going to be a hit. I felt like it was going to be a hit. I thought, I really like this song. You know, it's up to the people that, you know, that buy the records, and if my fans that I've got on the show, and I think it's just lucky, really. You just have to be lucky, and I think that there is a bit of a stigma with the X Factor, but I think at the end of the day, it has to be down to the music. As long as you do producing good music, then people should buy into it no matter where you're from, whether you're from the X Factor or not. It's all about the music. If it's good, people should buy it.
Well, you sold out the O2. I think it is twice actually. Isn't it?
I was a bit unsure about doing a second date. I was like, we've sold out one, fine. I'm happy to just leave it like that. You know what I mean? But no, it's brilliant. I'm going to be doing an arena tour next year between February and March, and I mean, I couldn't believe it. I did my theatre tour this year, and that was fantastic. And did the JLS summer shows with the boys. So to do an arena tour. Can't believe it, and to sell an O2 out, and then they're like, we should do another day. I'm like, well, if we only get 2,000 want to come and see that one, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's brilliant, it's great, and like I said, it's important for me that although I'm doing the presenting side of things, is to still showcase that I'm a singer, and I love doing that.
Well, the album is, in case you don't know, out on November the 28th. So if your fans who got the last album were looking for what are we going to get this time? What's this album?
I think it's just. I always say it's always everyone, whenever I watch these shows, everyone says it's always a progression, isn't it? But it does, for me, it feels like it's just a bit more mature. And I mean, I haven't changed much in a year, but I just feel like I feel like I'm more involved in the industry now. I know what I'm doing. I feel like I've progressed as an artist. From when you go into writing sessions, I've got more of an idea of how. Because when I first went into a writing session, I was like, well, I've got to write a song. I've never done this before. Where do I start? I mean, so I think the fact that I had an whole album of doing that first off, and it did so well. Now the second time around, it was more relaxed. I was going in there with ideas. I had my laptop there. I was like, right, I've got this kind of idea that I've come up with, and felt more like more creative behind it.
Well, you change your sound quite a lot. You seem to be able to mix into all sorts of different genres. Actually, there's a bit of reggae, but then obviously with Rizzle Kicks, that was a completely different sound.
Well, I always say I want to keep my fans on my toes. I always feel like with certain artists that even I fall in love with over the years, you get an album, your first album's amazing, then you get the second album and it sounds like the first album, or it's a little bit like, oh, it just sounds the same, you know. I feel like for me, I want to try and change it around a bit. I know I've sort of renowned for the reggae ska from the first album. Please Let Me Go, Thinking of Me were great. And then I felt like with this album, I wanted to come out with a bit of a difference.
Well, don't they always say the second album is always the toughest?
The Achilles heel. It's always the Achilles heel, and it always is, especially from the X Factor. I mean, I don't think there's been a male artist that's come back with a second album from the X Factor. I don't know, I could be wrong, I don't know, but...
Well, the bottom line is always hard work. I mean, there are very few people successful in the charts or in movies or on television who are either lazy or don't take it seriously.
Definitely.
I mean, you have to take it seriously. You've got to
I mean, you look at
the early stages.
Well, you look at the likes of JLS, for example, and, you know, I mean, what massive success they've been, and they work so hard. And when they came down to the show, when I was on it, you know, it was like, wow, you could see they knew everyone, they knew the crew, they knew everyone behind the scenes, and you could tell that they worked every day. And I was just feeding off that. I was like, right, when I finish this show, I'm going to be exactly like that.
But they were like that from day one. I remember when we were doing Xtra Factor, and like at the end of the auditions, they'd sort of come up to me and my makeup girl, and they bought us both a bottle of wine just to say thank you so much.
Exactly.
And like they had nothing back then, and it was just so. It was that professionalism from that start, right at the very beginning, that they still have to this day.
It was like, you know, that, and I took that as well. And you work on it, and you know this industry is like people know everything about everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And almost if you get a bad name, that's it. You know?
Well, it's a lesson to anyone who comes afterwards, isn't it? It's a case of if you get the chance, if you get the opportunity, you get through all those auditions, you get through everything. You've got to work hard, take it seriously, because if you make a game of it, then it may all disappear.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you are a massive success.
Yeah,
well, I'm doing all right. Yeah.
So we've got,
well.
In case you don't know, the album out on the 28th of November. The single Dance With Me Tonight is November the 20th.
Yes.
And of course, you are going on tour. The tour starts, I think, in February.
How exciting.
Enjoy it,
Well
mate.
done, Olly.
Lovely to see you.
No, thank you so much for having me.
So
Pleasure.
nice to see you.
Thank you.